Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Yael Shemer with us today. Yael is a co-founder and CCO of TULU. Yeah, she's on a mission to redefine urban life through innovation and sustainability. As a co-founder of TULU, she's raised 30 million. She's in 50 plus cities and served 175K households. So that's a lot of people. Did the half marathon a couple of weeks ago in Brooklyn. So welcome to the pod, Yael. Tell me and us a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Hey, Charles. Thanks for having me. My name is Yael. I'm logging in from New York City. Our office is here in Flatiron. I've been the co-founder of TULU for the last 6 years. We started with an idea, my co-founder and I. My co-founder is Shai. We met at an accelerator at MIT called DesignX, part of a fellowship called OGS for anyone who wants to look it up. And we were both very obsessive with the built environment. My co-founder is an architect, and my background is in environmental science and urban planning. And we were both kind of frustrated with the way the built environment hasn't changed much in the last 50 years. And I think that my approach to alternative consumerism back then, I was a minimalist and I really wanted to do something with overconsumption. And my co-founder's approach to the built environment gave birth to TULU. And essentially what TULU is we're a platform in residential buildings and student housing, which allows residents on-demand access to products like vacuum cleaners, projectors, drills, scooters, there's even a printer, as many times as they want during the week. We partner with the biggest landlords in the world. We work with Invesco and Greystar and Bozzuto. You can see it here on our website. We're now operating in nearly 400 buildings. So, for some people, it can look like a more luxurious vending machine, but we have everything powered by a native app. We work also with brands. Bosch and Character are some of our biggest partners. And we really are on a mission to redefine the way people use stuff in cities. We're moving from the equation of I want something, therefore I buy it, into I need something, therefore I use it. And TULU is really accelerating this mindset into saying that everything in your daily life can become a service. You need to clean your apartment. You have a wide variety of things that you don't need to own. You can just access. And I think, to recap, it's part of a bigger thing that's happening to our generation. We're single for longer. We're living in cities for longer. Apartments are getting smaller, and people don't have as much upfront abilities to pay for appliances, and also they don't have the room. And TULU is really an amenity and a service that can finally offer residents things that actually can help better their daily lives.
Very interesting. What's hard about that business? There's hardware in there. You need to buy all the products up front, sort of. So what's hard about it, and what's cool about it?
What's hard is, I guess, just like you said, it's a B2B2C business. So we had to crack the consumer on both the B2C side and the B2B side. And that took time. We have really strong product market fit with landlords that are, you would say our B2B clients. A lot of land and expand. We opened new markets like Texas and North Carolina, and we've opened all around Europe, and every time we open a new city, we get more clients. So that was a really cool thing that started off as a challenge and then actually became our sales strategy, to open new markets to get more clients. But there's always two challenges. There's the challenge of expanding to more buildings as fast as we can because we are a VC-backed startup, and then cracking the consumer code. It's not enough just to put a vacuum cleaner, a projector, and all these amazing items we offer and hope people will use them. We needed to create mass personalization. We needed to create a process that convinces you to use our app versus to go to Target or to go on Amazon and buy things. And that's a daily thing our company is working on.
Very cool. And what's the price? Let's say that I'm a property manager, I own buildings. What should I pay to use TULU?
The price varies between the size of the building, the markets we're in. But I would say in North America, usually the setup fee is a few $1,000s, which essentially is for the installation of the big unit. And then there's a service fee that derives from it. that includes, our customer service, maintenance, and all what we offer to our clients. And that can be, a couple $100 a month, even $1,000 a month or more, depending on the size of the building and what is included in the partnership.
Okay, so I pay to use your app, and then I get money if my tenants use TULU. Is that how it works?
So there's actually a 3-part monetized ecosystem. So the first part is the landlord is integrating TULU as an amenity, and the landlord is actually partnering with us, so they pay us. Then we partner to market TULU to residents. So residents can either get an amenity, TULU as their amenity package, or they can buy a membership for TULU. That's usually $10 a month per member, can be $12 a month. And then we also have a shop side, which, we offer ice creams and toilet paper and pharmacy products. So that's just additional revenue on top. We split it with the landlord, so they can also have an incentive. And then third revenue stream is actually partnering with brands. So what we do with brands is, we gather so much data. And what we saw is that we needed to crack the consumer, so we integrated AI. So essentially, if you're using a vacuum, we would ask you to fill a video about giving us feedback on how things are working for you. And we use it internally to see how things are going and how we can make it better. But our brand partners started asking us about this feedback, and they said, can we use that? So we actually have a few partnerships in which brands are using whatever data we generate into consumer insights about their products. So that's the third aspect of our revenue streams.
I love it. And how much can I make per tenant as a property owner in average per month?
Per month, it's very hard to say. Some landlords don't even look at all to make money because they also bake it in their amenity fee. And we do not market TULU as a revenue generator. We market it as an amenity, as a tenant satisfaction and lease retention tool. But we do have landlords that are making money, and you can probably, if everything is going well, you can cover whatever you're paying us and sometimes make more ancillary revenue.
Very cool. Now, what products are the best usually? Because like food, I mean, there may be a convenience store like literally on the same block or 1 block away. The aspirator, the Dyson, I think that one is pretty smart. The scooter as well, but takes a lot of place as well, right? So you need to think about these details. So what product is usually the best? Which one is like the sweet spot that you've seen?
Yeah, we have our best sellers, I would say, are the cleaning appliances, and it's kind of the same as you would have in your household. It's, you don't use all your products in the same frequency. Some people clean more than others, but usually our cleaning products are just being used so often. So I would say vacuums, upholstery cleaners, and cleaning appliances are used the most. Then some novelty items like the VR headset, the Nintendo Switch. The more experiential items. If we have a printer, that's a big seller. A lot of people work from home. Nobody needs to own a printer these days. So that's a really comfortable thing to have on demand. And then if we have a micromobility solution, that's being used very often as well. So, beyond the personalization of each individual user, we have the building as a whole. So if the building is located in a place in the city that doesn't have a convenience store, we can see our shop numbers just skyrocketing, like, crazy amount of revenue from, selling ice cream, selling things that you don't want to leave the building for. But if the building is in the prime location in Manhattan, we would still see really great usage in the shop, but maybe other items would be used more that are harder to store in a small apartment, for example. So every market, I'd say, is very, very different.
And you keep mentioning ice cream. So is that complex on the hardware side of things to have like a refrigerator in your actual unit? Like where did you build these things? Tell me a bit more about the hardware.
So shout out to our incredible team. We have a really talented VP engineer and product designer. We decided to build everything in-house. I think it was a good idea back then. These days, there's so many other off-the-shelf solutions, but we did build it in-house. We have a freezer, fridge, We have a printer that we built a technology behind. We have a rental aspect, but everything is in-house, and we just added smart locks. And then we have a smart camera that oversees anything, and also an IoT solution to monitor usage.
Very cool. You, I think, immigrated in the US in 2018, right? And Israel is notorious for the community, the kibbutz, right? Like, did that help you think and build the company?
Israel is notorious for their kibbutz. Yeah, it's true. We do thrive of sharing things with each other. My co-founder's background is more from that area of the from that background. I think that the mentality is that there's a smarter way to live, and that was what drove us. It doesn't make sense that today in the 21st century a building has such a similar demographic. You go to a building in New York, you go to a building in London, and it's all young professionals or it's all Gen Z students, and that they still have to own the same things in each apartment because there's no space. So I think the core of our mission was to make a smarter solution, which is our culture. We are always trying to think about making things in a smarter way. I would like to think so. Yeah, and it's where I'm from. It's very common to ask your neighbor for help. It's very common to ask stranger to borrow something. And then when you move to a big city like New York, it's just a bit more challenging to knock on someone's door. And technology does enable you to get those things when it's done correctly. And we have seen many other companies that have tried to build a rental model. And I think where things tend to fail is for the consumer side. If it's not right there in your building, if it's not a 1-minute walk from where you are, you're probably going to be too quote unquote lazy to go get it. And
Efficient.
I don't even think laziness is the word, but what we say is that we're building an infrastructure for a better behavior. If I wanted people to go recycle something, and I would tell them you have to recycle every day, but they don't have a recycling bin in their building, it's just going to be much harder to encourage this behavior. Today, you really can't tell people to go rent things. You can tell them to go to their closest REI or Home Depot, or to find the right community board. But we are building that infrastructure in buildings, and we believe that in a few years it's going to be as common as the gyms are, which is a fairly new thing from the last 15 years.
Yeah, I've seen like other companies like yours. I'm quite bullish on the concept. I mean, I live in this 3-story house here, and even going like downstairs is a big move for me. And getting
Yes.
like Mercado Libre or Amazon at my door. How does your company also integrate with? I would call it like the downtrend of rents increasing in New York and all of that. Like, do you see that people want to rent instead of buying? They have like more limited budgets, and yeah, how does that integrate with like the housing crisis that we're seeing in all big cities around the world?
Charles, I lost you for a quick second. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So I was asking, like, people I think have less budget nowadays, right? Like they want to rent instead of buying, especially in New York where the rent is super high. So I think that does integrate in one of these trends. Like, have you studied or analyzed like the housing crisis and how potentially startup like yours are gonna provide solutions to that?
Yeah, we see it in what you call the fractional economy. So a lot of models are doing what you call the Netflixization of things. They're moving from an ownership model to an on-demand. Oh man, my internet is acting up. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Okay,
We still have
so
you. I'll
I'll
let you know if I lost you. Yeah.
okay, you got me?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm saying what we're seeing as an overall trend from the last decade is that more companies are moving to a model that you can call the Netflixization of ownership. So it's either from an upfront payment to a leasing, an upfront payment to a subscription, and those things are very comfortable for our generation because making big investments is not always available for our generation. I think the housing crisis, of course, there's a supply issue in the US and I think in other cities as well, but there's also an accessibility problem. And TULU is currently tailoring the solution we have to very, very big buildings all over the world. And what we are seeing is that the user profile that is using our product the most is a person that moves every 2 years, which is the general trend that's happening right now. That there's so much waste every time you move to an apartment, so that's a big cost. When you move into an apartment, you have to make new investments. That's a big cost as well. So move out and moving in. And then fractional ownership is becoming a big thing. And even companies like Bosch and other big appliances are thinking about how to lease their dishwasher and how to lease their microwave. So I think we're only going to see it growing, and we're only going to see more solutions like TULU becoming prevalent.
Right. It's like next level vending machines, sort of. I think it's also quite sustainable, right? Because I order a bunch of things via Amazon and Mercado Libre here, and was chatting with ChatGPT yesterday, and it's not super sustainable. It does win in some categories, vs like shopping at stores, for example, in some instances, but yeah, most of it is ends up in the landfill, right? And I think you're also on the sustainable trend as well.
Yeah. It's hard to actually quantify a lot of it. We've built a calculator. We had a partnership with Columbia University in which we said, can we actually save carbon footprint by offering these items for rent? And the overall answer is yes, we are saving carbon footprint. It's still hard to put the exact number because if you live in a big building, you may take the elevator, but you rent a vacuum, that changes. What we are seeing is that TULU helps people make better decisions in the long run. And that many of the people that are using TULU on their yearly base, sometimes they're used for TULU for 4 years. If they live in an apartment, they end up not buying a lot of things. So we are saving landfill, we're saving waste, and we are saving energy consumption as well. And we're also building an infrastructure to build more products on top of that.
Interesting. And yet, it's not your first startup, right? Like I think you've created a couple of ones before that, and yeah, Israel's very startup-y. It's like startup nations, right? Like it's where I'm getting at is that you've probably had a lot of scars building all these companies, right? Like what have you learned from your time doing that, and how do you bring that to the current company that you're building nowadays when shit hits the fan? How do you react?
Yeah. It's a roller coaster. TULU is my first real, VC-backed experience. I co-founded a few different initiatives that were, much smaller scale. Like we're now active in over 56 cities, and the operations of this is very, challenging and unique, and also really exciting. I think, as an entrepreneur, the bigger the problem you're trying to solve, the more exciting avenues you can take, and every decision you take is 500 decisions you're not taking. So it's a constant iteration, and mainly when you're building a physical product, I feel like with my other friends that are building softwares, it's easier to iterate. But here we have almost 400 machines that we've deployed and that we have to maintain and that we have to upgrade as needed. So there's a lot more capital to have to manage, and also we need to make it smarter, and we need to make it fit this day and age. I always joke that, when you're thinking about product market fit, as a product, we have great product, but the market keeps changing. For all the alumni who raised money in 2018 and 2019, the market has changed tremendously since COVID. So VCs are acting differently. I remember when we had raised our A round, everyone were talking about hyper growth. Profitability was a curse word. You don't talk about profitability. Fast forward to 2024, 2025, everyone are talking about being lean, everyone are talking about margins, and everyone are talking about profitability. So as a startup founder, you just have to know what's best for your business and keep being relentless. And I always joke that there's never a dull moment, and we just need to be prepared for changes and be flexible and enjoy the ride, because it's quite a ride. The only thing I think I'm taking with me is that it's a ride. There's no same day. We need to adjust. We need to listen to our customers. We need to work close together. I always tell my team, like, I never want to be a bottleneck. I have a professional role in my company besides being the co-founder. I never want to be a bottleneck, and I never want to, like, I believe in full ownership, and every person that works for TULU today has a founder mindset. It's, of course, the founders need to have a founder mindset, but we are trying to hire people that understand the urgency to deliver and understand the importance of communication and over communication in times of challenges.
Right. And what does a day to day in your life look like? Like, what time do you get up? What habits do you nurture to stay productive and keep your sanity?
I just got an Oura ring.
Yeah.
For a long time, I was like, I don't want to know how much I sleep and how stressed I am, but I'm at a place in life where I do want to know so I can make better decisions. Every day is different. I try to wake up between 6:30 to 7, and I try to get to the gym to do a Pilates class, running class, weightlifting class. Obviously, not every day, whenever I can. But I have tried, staying more fit as things become more intense. I started running last year, and I did the half marathon, which was a crazy experience. I would love to do an Ironman or Iron Woman one day. So maybe I'll ping you once I'm ready to do that. But yeah, I try to eat healthy and meditate and do all the right things. But sometimes you just got to work 18 hours or 20 hours and finish something. So I think the best health is like relationship, having friends and having a support system that is there for me. And also my relationship with my co-founder is amazing. And we're really trying to do what we can together to make the company succeed. So I think health for me is like the greater than my routine. It's how I live life with just, staying on the mission, staying in with kindness, leading with heart. And that really helps my stress levels.
And what's next for you this year? What will be your main focus as a co-founder? Like, do you want to focus on GTM? Do you want to focus on raising this year? What's next?
Yeah, I think it's a mix. We're just growing. We have so much organic inbound that we want to keep growing. We want to get to 500 buildings pretty soon. So our team is, on their toes trying to sign deals and getting to more buildings. We are working on our margins. We're working on raising more money, as every startup does. But yeah, we want to make TULU a standard. And we really believe in the statement, go big or go home. So we are going big right now. We're not going home. We're trying to, scale to more countries. We're trying to scale with our existing customers. So I would say this year, we're really, really focused on growing.
Thanks for being on today, Yael. Where can people find out more about you?
LinkedIn, Instagram. I have a Substack in which I update some things, but I would love to keep in touch with other entrepreneurs and like-minded people.
So that was Yael and Charles for another